Hi, Jeff Nepper, Managing Partner with Flow Software. Thanks for joining me for the second portion of how to build an analytics information hub. Flow Software exists to help give teams decision-making superpowers. We've been doing it since 2015, and because we were born out of a system integration business, we have a deep understanding of operations. Flow has been working with world-class companies to help them solve their analytics problems, to put in place a proper analytics framework that will help them define, transform, and openly share information across their entire organization. It's worked for them, and it'll work for you too. Here's the 3 steps that we recommend to get started. First, we need to define our model. Then we need to transform our data. And finally, we need to share that new information with our people, our systems, and our third-party applications. In this video, we're going to focus on how we define the model. When's the last time you had a conversation inside your organization around information governance? For most organizations, this is a brand new concept. We've worked with some that have been doing this for years, but the majority are just getting started in this journey. So what is information governance, and what's the purpose of it? Well, ultimately, for information governance, we want to help answer the question, what do you want to measure? Do something for me. Think about the 3 to 5 KPIs or pieces of information that you rely on every single day. Asking the question, what do we want to measure? And starting from there to build out our information model is the key to Flow Software. Instead of thinking about our model as assets or tags that represent equipment, the information model is about what do I want to measure? How am I going to get it? Who's going to be responsible for it? And building out this model is always the very first step to building an analytics framework. So let's take a look at that model. In this example, we have a factory as the top, and then we have utilities, raw materials, packaging, and inside of our packaging, we have a line. Inside of our line, we have what looks like several pieces of equipment. Let's focus on the filler. The information that we want to pull from the filler, this is where we start. The most important thing that we care about from that filler is volume produced. And we've decided as an organization that we want to speak about volume produced on an hourly KPI. Those hourly KPIs need to roll up to shifts. Those shifts need to roll up to days, days to weeks, and so on. Likewise, we also care about when that filler is running. So we'll create events around when the filler is running. We'll create metrics around the production of that filler. KPIs in general, especially when we start talking about things with time over top of them, need a second part of an information model to be effective. That second part is the sense of time. Production calendars, finance calendars, shift patterns. Every operation is different, and often even within an operation, there's variance. You may very well inside of your organization run multiple shift patterns in different parts of your factory, different business units, and so on. How do we talk about a shift universally when shifts can be different everywhere? How do we talk about production numbers? How do we talk about financial numbers if we don't allow for customization in our calendars? And Flow does just that. We give you the ability inside of each Flow system to create multiple calendars and then use those calendars to define your KPIs or the information that you need to collect. That flexibility is key to creating an information model. Now that we know what we want to collect, we have the customization of building calendars around our process. Now we can create a scalable information model that can be pushed out to our operations and ask our people to connect those items to that model. So what do we connect? We connect real-time sensors. We connect historians, SQL databases, and manual entry forms so that you can plug the proper I/O into your information model. So the flexibility of this is that For our production tag, we may not have the same historian totalizer tag everywhere inside of our facility. We might have most of those tags historized in perhaps a SQL historian and a NoSQL historian like Canary or Aviva Pi. But there's other places in our organization that might not have that tag historized. It might be available on an MQTT broker or an OPC server. We can still get that information into our analytics framework because Flow gives us the customization to connect to multiple sources to bring that piece of I/O into our model. On the SQL side, it can be anything from Microsoft SQL to Postgres to a Waybridge or an alarm table in a SCADA system. We have all of the native connectors that we need in order to reach out to all of the different flavors of SQL. And most importantly is the information that we don't have instrumentation on. That's the manual data formats. So instead of entering things inside of a spreadsheet or writing them on a clipboard, Flow gives us easy web forms so that we can capture that information, plug it into our model, and have it ready for our next step. This includes not just the versioning of data or the entering of data, but also the categorization. So now we can track downtime in Flow and make it much easier for our people on the ground to let us know what's going on and why it's occurred. Once we've connected all of these sources to our information model, then we're ready to start looking at our next step, which is how are we going to transform that data?